Yeah, chapter 5 mainly discusses about how Narada is going to influence Vyasa towards bhakti. I mean, Vyasa is already a devotee only, but he wants him to bring that concept in the uh, Bhagavad Purana. Okay. So, coming back to the origin of Bhagavad Purana, we all know that Bhagavad Purana is a scripture written by Sri Veda Vyasa, documented by Sri Veda Vyasa, and it has been narrated by different people. Brahma himself talks about Bhagavad Purana to uh, the Sanatan, those Kumaras, and he has also narrated to Narada. And Suta Puranika, who is now narrating this, has told it to Parikshit Raja. Vyasa has told it to Shuka, his son. And sorry, not Suta, Shuka has told it to Parikshita. During that time, Suta Puranika attended, and therefore now he is narrating the same to so many rishis. Shaunakadi Rishi. Shaunaka is one of them. And Suta Puranika, Puranikas are those who are very good in narrating, who are highly knowledgeable, and they have done lot of sadhana, which makes them very efficient in narration so that people understand, and they are able to conceptualize or imagine. That is how all the rishis, so many of them, they approach Suta Puranika and they say, you are learned person, you know so many things, you narrate it to us now. Anta, they will go and approach, and that is how Suta Puranika is narrating. We have completed 4 chapters, and you know very well that how it has come into existence. That is a discussion in 5th chapter. So we have discussed few aspects in the previous 4th chapter also. So Vyasa now is sitting in on the bank of river Saraswati, and Vyasa is the author of Mahabharata, Brahma Sutra, and Itihasa, and 4 Vedas. He has assigned the responsibility to 4 of his disciples, and they compiled the Vedas and segregated them uh, based on the content also, and the way it is narrated. Some are as poems, some are songs, some are as prose written text. So like that we have Rigveda, Samaveda, Yajurveda, Atharva Veda. So these are the 4 Vedas which he has compiled, and he has given responsibility to different people. So that is how it was developed. Now after that, what happens is he says, I have done so many things. I have written almost everything in the interest of people, because Vyasa is known to serve people. And as I said, they have thought about Kali Yuga, people of Kali Yuga, how much of distress they are going to face, and therefore Vyasa, along with his disciples, they have compiled and everything is done. Still, why my mind is restless? And he starts thinking, why am I so restless? Why am I so restless? As he is thinking, sage Narada arrives there. Now, who is Narada? Narada is called as the Brahmarshi. Brahmarshi. He is the Manasaputra of Lord Brahma, and he is capable of traveling across all the 3 lokas, they say. What are the 3 lokas? Prithvi Loka, Patala Loka, Swarga Loka. There are 3 grossly, broadly classified. There are different layers of this universe that we have seen, different lokas. So he can go across all those 7 lokas. So he has that special boon, and he is always interested in the welfare of the community, particularly, I mean, across the lokas, of course, because he interacts with Deva Devatas. That's what the Puranas say. And he is interested in the welfare of people on the earth, and he is interested in the welfare of people in the Patala Loka also. So, as he is coming and traveling, he lands on the earth, and then he is seeing Vyasa. So, one must understand that Bhagavad Purana talks about bhakti. So, in this chapter, Narada, Veda Vyasa, as soon as he sees Narada, he questions him about his own my mental state. So one thing is, before we start Bhagavad Purana, Bhagavad says this is meant for people who are of pure mind. Again, I will repeat in every session that we must come prepared, not prepared, we must start preparing ourselves to purify our mind, so that we develop lot of attachment towards the Lord. Because this one will speak about, this whole scripture talks about different stories, what has happened, and in different avatars, and along with that avatar, what were the characters around, what do they speak, and we will start enjoying the glories of these avatars. Andre, we will start imagining those, understanding those. Mentally, we will live in that space at that time, and we will try to understand. So that brings about lot of, again, see, with the pure mind you approach, and as we start enjoying these glories, Krishna says, Vyasa says, or Narada, everybody who has documented Sutta Puranika, that contemplation, that understanding, that enjoying those glories just by listening, that brings a lot of grace of God, and mind still becomes purer and purer. So it is a by-way interaction. And as we keep doing this again and again and again, and as we start developing a strong magnetic attraction towards that Lord, then he establishes himself in your heart, and that is called Naishtiki. He has used the word Naishtiki, means permanently God establishes himself in your heart, and he cleanses, he removes all the chaos. And in our previous shlokas also we have seen that once you start listening to Bhagavad Puran, the feeling is, it is like a traveler who has been traveling for many days, many months, barefooted here and there for so many things, and then he comes back finally to his house, and he washes his hands and legs or takes a shower, and then he relaxes. Abba, I am finally back to my house. And the kind of feeling he gets after a tired journey, that is exactly the feeling that we get once we read Bhagavad. That means our origin is in the abode of Lord Sri Krishna in our heart. We have been going outside here and there in search of happiness in so many things, either in the job or in the possessions or in the relationships or in the situations. Everywhere we try to search, and it will be a futile exercise. And not only futile exercise, we become very, very tired. But the minute you start listening to Bhagavad Gita, of course, is part of his sayings only, but Bhagavad Purana, which is very simple in the form of stories, and if you have Shraddha in that, you will feel a very relaxed state of mind. More and more you will start feeling, or the need or the thirst to, listen to these kind of stories of Bhagavan. So that is the whole beauty of Bhagavad Purana as described by the authors. And it appears true also, because even when I was reading, I was feeling the same thing. I felt so interesting, and we are all enjoying those stories, because Bhagavad Gita is also good. It is do's and don'ts, and it is a path towards moksha, and it is a great exercise to our brain. But if you see, whenever you go to some intellectual discussions, or when you talk intellectual things, or you watch interesting things on the TV also, news discussion or Republic TV, something which stimulates your brain, no doubt it will satisfy you. But if you have met some good people, or if you have met some old friends, if you have discussed some things which are heart to heart, the kind of satisfaction that you get after such an interaction is much more, it gives you more peace of mind or more pleasantness than what you got after stimulating your brain through intellectual talks. That means something which is related to the heart. Heart means it need not be here. It is also related to your thoughts only. But When we speak about love, affection, sharing, caring, and sharing our thoughts, asking about others' problems, sharing our problems. So these are the kind of things naturally which will give you more peace of mind and more energizing. You can experiment, I'm sure. See, we would read as medical professionals, we would have read so many things. 20 our course is so most of us are doctors over here, exhausting syllabus, and a lot of happiness in presenting papers, publications, getting the promotions or qualification, everything is there. But that doesn't give you so much happiness compared to what you experience when you have a heart to heart talk with people. That is because when we have heart to heart talk with people, we are actually touching the spiritual aspect of our personality. So that aspect Narada is going to bring to Vyasa. Vyasa has been a very highly intellectual person. Suvarchala, last time you had asked this question, again I am repeating the answer to that. Shuka had attained everything, and Atma Bhava also, and Atma Jnani is a person who has realized, he had almost reached that state. Of course, he also has shown some kind of anger and all that in the beginning, but he was more advanced. Vyasa gave more intellectual, and of course he was a Paramatma's aspect, one small fraction of him, Amsha. He is also considered as one of the avatars out of 24 avatars. But having said that, he is born as a human being. So he was not glorifying for the benefit of the ordinary people. As I told in my previous sessions also, the intellectual things are not everybody's cup of tea. It need not be everybody's cup of tea. But love and affection, and sharing your internally, sharing that kind of what I should say, vibes or emotions, that anybody can do. You just have to trigger it. Anybody. No varna, no brahmana, kshatriya, vaishya, shudra, nothing. No class, no caste, no creed, no qualification. Anybody can show love and affection. You have seen that movie, Lage Raho Munna Bhai. Have you seen that movie? How many of you have seen Lage Raho Munna Bhai? Sanjay Dutt's movie that brought about this concept. How many have seen? Please unmute. I think all of you have seen, no? Sanjay Dutt's movie about doctors.
It's ma'am.
Yeah, you have seen
Yes,
that, no?
ma'am.
Yeah, it
Yes,
brought
ma'am.
about the very beautiful concept of healing by sharing the personal vibes, personal touch. Exactly, now Narada is bringing that to Vyasa. Vyasa is as I told, I mean, extraordinary intelligent person. He brought out so many things. He thought Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita through Mahabharata, Brahma Sutras, Itihasas. These will interest them. But Narada now says he brings out certain things that we shall see what he has got to express. Now we come to chapter 5. So I'll just read out the shlokas and then we can discuss the meanings. Okay. अथ पञ्चमोऽध्यायः सूत उवाच अथ तं सुखमासीनम् उपासीनं बृहच्छ्रवाः देवर्षिः प्राह विप्रर्षि वीणापाणिस्मयन्निव नारद उवाच पाराशर्यमहाभाग भवतः कञ्चिदात्मना परितुष्यति शारीर आत्मा मानस एव वा जिज्ञासितं सुसम्पन्नम् अपि ते महदद्भुतं कृतवान् भारतं यत्स्वं सर्वार्थपरिब्रह्मितं जिज्ञासितमधीतं च यत्तद्ब्रह्म सनातनम् अथापि शोचस्यात्मानम् अकृतार्थ इव प्रभो व्यास उवाच अस्त्येव मे सर्वमिदं त्वयोक्तं तथापि नात्मा परितुष्यते मे तन्मूलमव्यक्तमगाधबोधं पृच्छामहे त्वात्मभवात्मभूतं स वै भवान् वेद समस्तगुह्यम् उपासितो यत्पुरुषः पुराणः परावरेशो मनसैव विश्वम् सृज्यत्यवत्यत्तिगुणैरसङ्गः त्वं पर्यटन्नर्क इव त्रिलोकी अन्तश्चरो वायुरिवात्मसाक्षी परावरे ब्रह्मणि धर्मतो वृतैः सनातस्य मे न्यूनमलं विचक्ष्व श्रीनारद उवाच भवता नुदितप्रायं यशो भगवतो मलं येनैवासो न तुष्येत मन्ये तद्दर्शनमखिलं यथा धर्मादयश्चार्था मुनिवर्यानुकीर्तिताः न तथा वासुदेवस्य महिमा ह्यनुवर्णितः न यद्वच्चश्चित्रपदम् न यद्वच्चश्चित्रपदं हरेर्यशो जगत्पवित्रं प्रगृणीत कर्हिचित् तद्वायसं तीर्थमुशन्ति मानसा न यत्र हंसा निरमन्त्युशिक्षयाः तद्वाग्विसर्गो जनताघविप्लवो यस्मिन् प्रतिश्लोकमबद्धवत्यपि नामान्यनन्तस्य यशोऽङ्कितानि यच्छृण्वन्ति गायन्ति गृह्णन्ति साधवः नैष्कर्म्यमप्यच्युतभाववर्जितं न शोभते ज्ञानमलं निरञ्जनं कुतः पुनः शश्वतभद्रमीश्वरे न चार्पितं कर्म यदप्यकारणम् अथो महाभागभवान्मोघदृक् शुचिश्रवाः सत्यरतो धृतव्रतः उरुक्रमस्याखिलबन्धमुक्तये समाधिनानुस्मरतद्विचेष्टितम् तथोऽन्यथा किञ्चन यद्विवक्षतः पृथग्दृशस्तत्कृतरूपनामभिः न कुत्रचित्त्वापि न दुःस्थिता मतिर्लभेत वाताहतनौरिवास्पदं जुगुप्सितं धर्मकृतेऽनुशासतः स्वभावरक्तस्य महान् व्यतिक्रमः यद्वाक्यतो धर्म इतीतरस्थितो न मन्यते तस्य निवारणं जनः विचक्षणो स्यार्हति वेदितुं विभोः अनन्तपारस्य निवृत्तितः सुखं पर्वतमानस्य गुणैरनात्मनः ततो भवान् दर्शय चेष्टितं विभोः. So, I've broken down to 16 shlokas. So the first thing is, now Vyasa is sitting on the bank of river Saraswati. Narada comes there. All of you have heard of Narada, isn't it? Naradan Bagge, Narada Muni means, now colloquially what we say, Narada keeps, gossiping or, triggering something. Narada andre chadi helodu. Narada Muni Narada iddange idane. It's not so. Actually, Narada is a highly knowledgeable, and he has written Bhakti Sutra, and a lot of insights he has got, and whatever he has done in the past also, in Puranas also there is a story. He instigates people, but for every instigation there is a reason, number one. Number two, his story is also very, very interesting. I will tell you that also in today's session. So in this context, now Narada is sitting there with his veena. Actually, Narada is a very good, singer also. He always sings the glory of God. Narayana, Narayana, Narayana anteli aur baayali yavattu Narayana. So Narada means synonymous with Om Namo Narayana. So that much of, and Narada is also considered as one of the 24 avatars also. So he also has got lot of Parabrahma's Amsha in him. So he comes there and he observes Vyasa. He says, "O son of Parashara." Who is son of Parashara? Vyasa is son of Parashara. I have told you how Vyasa was born, isn't it? He was born to Rishi called Parashara and the Matsya Kanya. So he asks him, "O son of Parashara, so why for composing you have been," he appreciates him. See, whenever two people meet, no? So a very good gesture. If you have a good relationship, how will you address each other? You will appreciate them. You will bring them to that conversation. So he says, "Oh great Parashara, and you have mastered the Vedas." I'm just giving you the summary, okay? Not shloka by shloka. So he says, "Are you happy? What is the problem? You have given so much to the world. You have given main purushartha through Veda, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. So these four things you have explained. Everything he says, you have been so, knowledgeable. What makes you feel sad? I can see that on your face." So you appreciate that when two people are interacting, we must be sensitive enough to sense their feelings. Then only we can build up very good relationship. That is a deeper understanding which comes between two individuals. These are, of course, all are great souls. So Narada asks him. Now Vyasa equally he respects him. He says, "Oh great sage, I don't know what is bothering me in spite of doing all this. And you, the great Brahmarshi, you travel all over the world. You are like the sun yourself." And he says that like how the sun can percolate every part of this universe, you have the ability to peep into my mind and understand everybody's mind and understand. Kindly let me know, in spite of doing all this, what is there? Why am I not still happy? So Narada says, "Vyasa, you have written everything so far. Grammatically, literally, everything is perfect. All the Vedas, I have told you, Vedas have come from Brahmakshara. It is from Parabrahma. So from there it has come and they have been documented, written, classified. Everything is done. But what you have, what those scriptures lack is the divine or devotional exuberance. The divinity is not there." He says the divine expression is not there because that is the key. Yasho bhagavato malam. So that is missing in that. You have propounded everything. And people who are very much into bhagavat bhava, devotees, I told you last time also. So these people, for these particularly Vyasa, this is of no use because they will consider them as the dirty mud puddles fit for the bath of crows of sensual worldlings. I will explain what it is. That means a general person, general intellectuals may like to go through Vedas, they will go through. It is definitely good. The Brahmanas, the Vaishyas will call the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas will call, they will chant. What did the Vedas contain? They contain the rituals. Karma Kanda and Jnana Kanda is a small aspect. Mostly it is Karma Kanda. How to perform Yajna, Yaga, and of course do's and don'ts are there. So they will definitely do. And but there is no devotional, that means glories of Bhagavanta. So many avatars he has taken. You may wonder that not all avatars had happened at that time, but Krishna avatar avaragu bandittu when Narada was talking to Vyasa in that kalpa, in that manvantara, because every manvantara it keeps repeating. So that has happened, but you have not told about it. Is it required for us to tell? Yes, I will tell. So he says, so the Paramahamsas or those who are transcending, they want to live in the bhakti bhava, in the ecstasy. For them, these kind of do's and don'ts without bringing the essence of bhakti, without bringing, describing what Krishna did, what Rama did, expounding his avatars, his leelas, his Bala Leela, Gopi Leela, nothing you have brought about. So that is not considered for these bhaktas, Shrestha bhaktas, just like our Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or Ramakrishna Paramhamsa of today's this thing, Yuga. So he was describing such people, no, they will never enjoy this. They will feel that, I mean, he's not condemning the Vedas, but he says, along with that, bring those devotional glories, expound, just emphasize, describe them in so many flowery this one, with emotions, with bhakti bhava. Because he says, literary compositions may contain, he's now very beautifully Narada says, even if they are not grammatically correct, even if they don't have flowery words, it's okay for me, Narada says. What is more important is bhakti bhav. If you see some of the songs written by some bhaktas, no, even in Karnataka, Karnataka is considered to be very, very, origin for bhakti. In fact, it comes in Bhagavat Purana also. So, if you see, there are some dasas, Jagannatha Dasru. I have seen his poems. They don't fit into the tal actually. We have tried. Me and my mother used to sing. This statement brought my memories. So she used to sing some songs, Krishnan songs. It is not fitting into tal. But if you see the bhakti bhavana, extraordinary. So that is what Narada is trying to tell exactly. The compositions, the scriptures should push a person, should make a person love God. We all must develop that, bhakti. Bhakti means it is not a fear, it is not a rule, it is not a law, but it is a connection. It is that bonding which should mean the highest to us in this world. It should mean the highest means that is first priority. Everything, all other relations should come next. So the scriptures should take us to that level of our mental state. That is what Narada says. And now he says from 12 to 16 shlokas, he says, therefore, he says, now, see, knowledge, there may be jnana. Sikkapate jnana irbodu. It will tell you Atma Bhava, we were discussing in Bhagavad Gita, no? Paramatma, Srushti, Prakriti, Gunas, and Karma, Karma Yoga, everything is there. But without bhakti, that jnana is of no use. So jnana without bhakti is of no use. Similarly, karma without bhakti is also no use. He also says, now he brings karma with motive, but if with motive, without motive, but unless it is dedicated to the Lord, it is of no use. So Narada brings bhakti in a profound way, and actually we must salute Narada, because Narada motivated Vyasa to write Bhagavat Purana, to document it. It was told, but it was not documented. If it was not documented, I and you would not be here. So he said, therefore, he says, you have got so much of knowledge, and you yourself are the spirit of Parabrahma. He knows that. He says, do through samadhi. Then that means go into serious meditative mode. Recall all the memories of Lord. Memories, that means all the his Leela. Get all those and expound the same, because that alone can lead to salvation. That alone can lead to liberation. That alone can lead to moksha. Last time I asked all of what is the purpose of life? Ultimately, our destination is to become one with God. And the path with which we are following now is to understand these scriptures and follow certain good behavior, positive thoughts, and meditation, chanting, right choices, whichever is taking us towards higher level of thinking. So that should happen, but along with that, bhakti becomes a fundamental aspect as per what he says. So then he says, otherwise what will happen, Vyasa, if you don't propound the glories and all? An ordinary man cannot get attracted to God, and if he doesn't get attracted to God, then what happens is his life, amidst all the miseries, amidst all the attractions, amidst all the things that take him here and there, drive him across to different directions, he is like a boat caught in a storm. Boat without any, if it is caught in a big storm, what happens? It goes here, there, reckless, no directions, and you will lose the control. So in order to bring that control, you have to bring some scripture which will describe, so that a normal ordinary person understands, he enjoys, because stories are enjoyed by everybody. And if you put some heart and soul and talk about Bhagavan's intentions in that, beautiful, isn't it? We all enjoyed, no? Matsyavatara we enjoyed, Narsimha Avatara we enjoyed, Kurma Avatara we enjoyed, Mohini Avatar we enjoyed, how Samudra Manthana took place. We discussed all that in brief. Once again it will come. So these were very interesting stories, and it was interesting also. And if we just allow ourselves, to float in that, then you will get drawn towards you will get attracted towards the Parabrahma, who himself landed on this earth, and he brought about all this. So he says that you must, in other words, what I am trying to say is, if you read some book, aren't you interested in knowing about, after some time, as you grow, no, you want to know about that person. How was that person? How did he write such a big book? So like that, we are seeing the universe. We say God is everywhere. Don't we want to know whether God, how he is? So only a jnani can think Parabrahma, it is infinity, neti, neti, a jnana marga says that. So how many can think like that? Therefore, Krishna comes again and again on this earth to make everybody feel that God's presence, my presence in this world is not untrue, it is a fact. Look, here I am there. Look, here I perform this. And an ordinary man can understand the Virat Roop. He can understand Vamana He can understand Narasimha, how he broke and why he came out of the pillar. So these are the things which Narada is trying to say, that when God has come, people would be interested to know about him, and people would be interested to sing about him. An ordinary person would like to sing. An ordinary person is not a very qualified person. Women are, but last class we discussed, no, Shudra and women, they are not, they are assumed to be not so intelligent. And now this, see, you make Bhagavat Purana, all the women can sing. There are so many women, and we have seen so many women become great spiritual seekers and sadhak, like Akka Mahadevi and Amele Sati Sakkubai and Mirabai. So they all went only through Bhakti Bhav. Only they took Krishna. One more story I will tell you today about this Bhakti. All of you heard, how many of you can come on the video mode? Please come. Come on the video mode. I can see you. Yes. Yeah. So Jagannath Puri, have you seen Jagannath? Have you heard? Have you been? How many of you have been to Jagannath Puri? You have been there? What about you, Sujata? Jagannath Puri hogidira? No. Chaitali, you have been there?
I have heard. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Jagannath Puri, the speciality is they give khichdi, no, in that pot, mud, this thing, kutki ola kodtara adana. They give that. Have you tasted that? How many of you have you been there? I have tasted that. Hot khichdi is given as a prasad. So there is a story how that khichdi became a prasad. See, look at this bhakti. This has happened very recently. I don't recollect her name, but there was one lady, one family. He was a bhakta, Krishna bhakta. Every day he will perform some puja, offer the khichdi to Lord Krishna, and then only take his food, like naivedya. So once he goes out of station, and he tells his daughter that you have to give Lord the naivedya, and then only you should have the prasad. So she says, okay, I will do that. Then what happens is she will start, every day she will cook nice khichdi, and every day, and the first day she gives it to him, she keeps it in front of him, and she says, Lord, you are going to eat this. By the time I will finish all my work, you have to eat. She is a young girl. So then she comes back and she says, you have not had, what is this? Anta. So normally naivedya, what do? We just keep ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ತಿಂದ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ. So she says, no, why aren't you eating? Then she, after some time, she hears a voice. Just put a curtain, close this thing. I don't want anybody to see. Then I will eat. And she will hear a voice. So she puts a small string and she puts a curtain, and that idol is inside. Khichdi is there. he eats, and then after some time she'll come, oh, you have finished, okay, anta ತೊಳೆದು ಬಿಡ್ತಾ. Literally they have observed, she has observed that. Next day again she makes it, she makes and gives the khichdi to Lord Krishna, and then she says, you finish it, I'll finish my work and come. And then she comes back. Then what happens is, there is one iವರು ಯಾರು one sadhu comes there. He says, you're offering to God, okay, do one thing, why don't you take your bath, clean, ಶುಚಿಯಾಗಿ ಕೊಡು, take your bath, cook after your bath and give. She said, okay, okay. Then she cooks and she takes her bath, everything, and then she offers him bhog, it's called bhog. And then what happens is, by the time she takes her bath and everything, it will be late. So still Krishna eats it. And then next day, on the same day in the evening, there is a temple. In that temple, this Jagannath Puri temple only, I mean, I think murtis were there. The pujari observes there is khichdi on the mouth of that idol. Khichdi, ದೇವರ ವಿಗ್ರಹದ ಮೇಲೆ khichdi ಹೆಂಗೆ ಬಂತು? I have never offered. They are all, I mean, who came, what happened anta. Then they go in search of, they go and ask this Sadhu Baba. Then Sadhu Baba says, he'll come and ask the girl what happened anta. Then the girl says, yesterday in a hurry, because you asked me to take bath and cook khichdi for Krishna, Krishna had in a hurry, and he told me that he could not even wipe his face, and therefore the khichdi remained on his mouth, and that was seen anta. This is a story I have heard about Jagannath Puri. That is why from that day they started preparing fresh khichdi, and that was being served. Andre, this has happened in this AD only, after, I mean, recently, okay, this century, not this century, just about 4,000 years ago. That means if you have real bhakti, the Lord will himself come and take that prasad from you. Similar stories are also heard, like Bhakta Siriyala. There was one movie called Bhakta Siriyala. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಅವನು ಶಿವನಿಗೆ, he will be giving the prasad to Shiva. ಅವನು ಬರೋವರೆಗೂ ನಾನು ತಿನ್ನೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಬರೋವರೆಗೂ ತಾಣಿ ಪಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾನೆ. Then actually he comes and takes. Similarly, we have heard of Bedara Kannappa. Bedara Kannappa. Beda is what? He is a low caste wise, if you take lower, but bhakti, what bhakti he had, my God. So all these stories we are hearing, that means if you really go through the path of bhakti, there are so many instances which will make us believe in Lord Krishna or Parabrahma's avatars, and which will make you feel his presence. So if that could have been done, then why not us? So that gives us a scope. So these are all, I mean, the avatars and all that, no, those are all documented in various scriptures similar to Bhagavat Purana. Bhagavat also brings about such stories. So this is how Narada says that you must propound. See, when I tell such stories, no, when we hear such stories, what happens is we start believing, because there is an evidence. One more story, I think last time I had told you, that also happened in Andhra Pradesh. I think Suvachla remembers that, how that person received, he was jailed. This happened during the time of Mughals. He was a pure bhakta, and he was imprisoned, and because he just left, ಆಯಿತು ಭಗವತಿಚ್ಛಾ, ರಾಮನಿಚ್ಛ, ರಾಮಿಚ್ಛ, ರಾಮ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಿರ್ತಾನೆ. Then one day somebody comes, some two sages will come. They will tell the king to release him, and they will pay. He would have distributed the money of that king to somebody else without his knowledge, without taking his permission, just to help some farmers. That is not approved by the king, and therefore he punishes him. So that fellow, that person, he is a Ram Bhakta, says, okay, I will go to the jail. And then as he keeps chanting, after a year, when somebody comes, he would have been imprisoned, life imprisonment ಆಗಿರ್ತದೆ ಅವನಿಗೆ. So then the two sages will come, they will influence the king, and then he gets released. ಮತ್ತೆ ಯಾರು ಬಂದಿದ್ರು? Then he realizes, Rama, Lakshmana, two sages, ಅಂದರೆ in that form they would have come. They look like him, exactly like him. So all these things have happened in the recent times. Even today things may be happening, or there may be people coming in the form of God and helping us. We are not aware. So bhakti has its own relevance, and if it's because of bhakti that things are still in order on this earth. So therefore, to help the ordinary people, Narada says you must bring about memories and expound the sportive wonderful deeds of the sportive Lord and what all he has done, and then only the things will be complete anta ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ. Because he says there are all that in Bhagavad Gita we have already discussed now. Only few souls who have attained the highest purity can attain moksha, can attain liberation. Otherwise, you recollect Bhagavad Gita, we all have Prakriti pushes us to perform actions, and because of those actions we get bound and take birth again and again. And when we take birth, what happens? We commit mistakes, we are not aware, we face those karmas, we go through miseries. Very few will just isolate themselves and say, this is not what I will just be an observer, I will be in Adhyatma Chetasa, we have seen in the previous. So very few, but otherwise people are all in this, oh dear one. So therefore, only a person who is devoted to the Lord can come out. So you bring about such scriptures so that they are always attached to the Lord, and they would never get attached to the samsara. They don't get entangled in the samsara, whereas on the contrary, reading these scriptures should make those people get attached to the Lord so that they come out of this samsara. So what is samsara? No, he has underlined this. So then they understand by reading that he is the cause, he is the effect of the whatever we have discussed so far. He says that. So what is this samsara? Samsara is the world. So samsara sagara it is called. Samsara sagara means it is the ocean which will make you drown in that. If you don't understand, or if you don't understand the trick of the trade, then you get entangled and never ending samsara again and again. So he says you need to get out of this. So adadmele then Narada, he talks about his own. So adin helbitu then I will read the shlokas. It's very interesting. So Narada, he says, now you understand my history, how I got into bhakti anta Narada tells his story. So what happens is, Narada in his previous birth, now he is Brahmarshi, okay? In this cycle of creation, he is a Brahmarshi. Previous to that, what happened? He is born another kalpa. Andre idu cycle ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಸತ್ಯುಗ, ತ್ರೇತಾಯುಗ, ದ್ವಾಪರಯುಗ, ಕಲಿಯುಗ, ಅಗೇನ್ ಸತ್ಯುಗ, ಈ ಥರ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತದೆ. So in the previous cycle, what has happened? Narada was a Dasi Putra. So same thing would have happened then also. He was a Dasi Putra. Dasi Putra ಅಂತಂದರೆ ವಿ ಡೋಂಟ್ ನೋ ದ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್, ಹಂಗಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಅವ್ರು ನಾರದರು ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್ ಬರ್ತಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ನೈಸ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಹೌಸಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅ ನೈಸ್ ಕುಟೀರ್, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದಿಸ್ ದಾಸಿ ಎವ್ರಿ ಟೈಮ್ ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಟೆಂಪಲ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಹೌಸ್. ಆಲ್ ದ ಸೇಜಸ್ನು ನಾರ್ಮಲಿ there is called ಚಾತುರ್ಮಾಸ್ಯ ಅಂತ ಇರ್ತದೆ in a year. ಚಾತುರ್ಮಾಸ್ಯ, that is the place when the ಋಷೀಸ್ will stay in a place, otherwise they are all moving here and there. ಆ ಚಾತುರ್ಮಾಸ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದೇ ಕಡೆ ಇತ್ಕೊಂಡು ದೇ ಗಿವ್ ಸ್ಪೀಚಸ್ಸು, ಡಿಸ್ಕೋರ್ಸಸ್ಸು, ಪೀಪಲ್ ಗೋ ಟು ದೆಮ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದೇ ಲರ್ನ್ ಸೋ ಮೆನಿ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್. ಸೊ every time she will provide that, she will clean that place, that temple, and provide good accommodation, ಮತ್ತೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಫುಡ್ಡು. she takes care of everybody, and she has this small son. Your 5-year-old boy, he's so much interested in listening to them andre, he doesn't want to play, he doesn't want to enjoy this one, but he wants to listen to whatever they are talking. ಅಷ್ಟು ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಅಂತೆ ಚಿಕ್ಕವರಿದ್ದಾಗ. ದೆನ್ ಅವರೆಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಹೋದಂಗೆ ಎವ್ರಿ ಡೇ ಹಿ ಈಸ್ ಲಿಸನಿಂಗ್ ಟು ದೇರ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕೋರ್ಸಸ್, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಮೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಅ ಪ್ರೊಫೌಂಡ್ ಇಂಪ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಆನ್ ಹಿಸ್ ಸೈಕೆ, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಯು ನೋ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಫಾರ್ಮೇಟಿವ್ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್. ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಕೇಳ್ತಾನೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಈ ಭಕ್ತಿ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ, ಭಗವಂತನಿಗೆ ಪ್ರಸಾದ ಕೊಟ್ಟದ್ದನ್ನು ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸಮ್ ಪ್ರಸಾದ್, ತೊಗೊಳ್ಳಿ ಅಂತ ತೊಗೊಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಪ್ರಸಾದ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಯುವರ್ ಪ್ಲೇಟ್, ಅವರು ಊಟ ಮಾಡಿರೋ ಪ್ಲೇಟ್ನಿಂದನೂ ತೊಗೊಳ್ತಿರ್ತಾನಂತೆ. So normally they put all mantras, isn't it? Whenever they have their food, Brahma Arpanam, ಬ್ರಹ್ಮ ಹವಿಹಿ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಾಗ್ನೋ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಣಾಹುತೋ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮೈವ ತೇನ ಗಂತವ್ಯ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮ ಕರ್ಮ ಸಮಾಧಿನ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಕಾಮನ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಅದಲ್ಲದೆ ವೇದ ಚಾಂಟಿಂಗ್. ಸೊ ವೆನ್ he eats that, no, and he listens. So ahara means both what you see, what you hear, and what you eat. So his ahara is full of adhyatma. He learns so much, he gets attracted so much. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅವ್ರು ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. Then he continues his studies and all that. One day his mother has gone to get milk from somewhere and she has a snake bite and she dies. ಇವಾಗ ಈ 5 ವರ್ಷದ ಮಗು, ತಂದೆನೂ ಇಲ್ಲ, ತಾಯಿನೂ ಸತ್ತೋದ್ಲು. ಇನ್ಯಾರಾದರೂ ಆಗಿದ್ದರೆ ಅನಾಥ ಮಗು ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಸಿಂಪತೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ they would have taken him there, here. But this boy is already told by these sages about the bhakti. He has been told about death. What is death? He recollects that. What is death? It is nothing but the transmigration of the Atma. You need not worry. The Atma will take birth elsewhere. What we discussed in Sankhya Yoga of Bhagavad Gita. Who are you? You are not this body, you are not. ಆಯಿತು, ಈ ಜನ್ಮಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದು ಅರ್ಜುನ, ಮುಂದಿನ ಜನ್ಮಕ್ಕೆ ನೀನು ಬೇರೆ ದೇಹ ತಗೊಳ್ತೀಯ, ದುರ್ಯೋಧನನು ತಗೊಳ್ತಾನೆ. ಸೊ ಆತ್ಮಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾವಿಲ್ಲ. ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ ಡೆತ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಿಸ್ ಆತ್ಮ. ಆಲ್ ದಿಸ್ ಬಾಯ್ ವುಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಲರ್ನ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದೆನ್ he takes this as an opportunity at a very young age, and then he starts traveling to different places, and he reaches a forest where he sits and meditates at the age of 5 years. He has been taught on how to meditate. We all have learnt how to meditate, isn't it? So he meditates for quite some time, and Om Namo ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಅವ್ರು, ದೀಕ್ಷೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಅವನಿಗೆ. ಓಂ ನಮೋ ನಾರಾಯಣಾಯ, ಐ ಆಮ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಗಿವಿಂಗ್, ಐ ಡೋಂಟ್ ನೋ ವಾಟ್ ಮಂತ್ರ ಹಿ ವಾಸ್ ಗಿವೆನ್. ಅದು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ದೆನ್ ವಾಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್, ಒನ್ ಫೈನ್ ಡೇ ಭಗವಾನ್ ಅಪಿಯರ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಹಿಸ್ ಹಾರ್ಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಹಿ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ಡ್ ಐಸ್ ಹಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಗೆಟ್ ಹಿಸ್ ದರ್ಶನ್. He gets his darshan, and then for a while he doesn't know who he is, and then immediately he disappears. So he starts crying. Then he calls God. ಇದೇನಿದು, ಇಷ್ಟಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದುಬಿಟ್ಟು, I have heard that there is something called moksha, you have to liberate ಅಂತೆಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳಿದರೂ ಕೂಡ ಕೃಷ್ಣ he hears a celestial voice which says that this is not enough for you, you need to have more. But definitely in this birth this is a maximum you can get, but definitely in the next birth you are going to have something phenomenal ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ, I have given darshan to trigger that spiritual spark. Now is your sadhana ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. Then he does lot of sadhana, and in the next birth he is born to Brahma as a Manas Putra along with all other rishis. One of them is Kapila Rishi. There are so many, 12 I think Brahma rishis. They are born out of Brahma. So now what is the moral of this is, Narada, when his previous birth, just by listening, ಬರೀ ಕೇಳಿಕೊಂಡು ಅದನ್ನು ಇಂಬೈಬ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ದಟ್ ಮಚ್ ಆಫ್ ಥರ್ಸ್ಟ್ he had, and he enjoyed. They used to talk about glories of God, they used to talk about ಪರಮಾತ್ಮ. ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಕೇಳಿ ಅವನಿಗೆ ಒಲವು ಬಂತು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಪ್ರಸಾದ ತೊಗೊಂಡದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಲವು ಬಂತು, ಸರೆಂಡರ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಲವು ಬಂತು. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ಹಿಸ್ ಮದರ್ ಹರ್ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ವಾಸ್ ಅ highest spiritually evolved lady, most probably, because she used to arrange for all this. So like how we discussed, he has got genetics, he has got environment, and he must have had, we don't know what happened to him, what was he in this previous to this, but this is what is documented. He himself tells. So this is what is happening anta heli Narada says that this is how I have got this birth with so much of effort, but mainly because of bhakti. So adrinda he says, now Vyasa, you must get on to expounding the glories of God. This is the story of Narada, and though he was a great saint, he also has other stories, like once how he becomes very egoistic, ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆನೂ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. But bhakti has its own bhakti and glories of God, understanding the avatars of God, that itself getting conceptualizing his ಮೂರ್ತಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಅವ್ರು ಮಾಡಿರೋ, ಈಗ ಕಂಸನ ಸಾಯಿಸಿದ್ದು, ಕಾಲಿಯ ಮರ್ದನ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು, ಗೋಪಿಕೆಯರ ಜೋಡಿ ಇದ್ದದ್ದು, ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಈವೆಂಟ್ ಇನ್ ಕೃಷ್ಣಾವತಾರ, it is, to be enjoyed. So it is definitely to be enjoyed, and only through that, along with understanding, when we enjoy such stories and other things, definitely it will take us to another level of bhakti. So that is about today. In brief, I have told. Now I will just chant the remaining shlokas what we have told, so that it completes. No, I think we'll take it in the next session. So that is about, we have finished 16 shlokas, 18. So rest we can take it in the next session. And just I will sing one song which is composed by Brahma.